he failed to mention that he raped my mother at gunpoint with an accomplice, which is what got him on parole, which is what led to the following crimes after he was paroled for that crime.
And we are about to watch the parole hearing of a monster, a repeat offender, someone who was sentenced to 151 years in prison. But due to new legislation, he's up for parole again. Now, to think that he was sentenced in 1995 for the vicious assault that we just heard the son of the victim talk about, but then paroled in 98 only to offend again against a 75-year-old woman and an 86-year-old man. It is unfathomable that this man who cannot even fake empathy could be up for a chance at parole. But before we watch this 2025 parole hearing, we will take a blast to the past to his 2022 hearing, and it is a good old Miss Honorable Judge Bonnie Jackson classic. So with that, let's jump in.
Galen Dickerson, 373278.
Thank you, Mr. Dickerson. Mr. Dickerson, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record, and then the board is going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we'll allow the participants who've indicated they wish to speak to have their input. Currently, we have 3 speakers speaking in opposition to your parole. Mr. Bryant Clark with the 22nd JDC District Attorney's Office, Ms. Jessica Brewster, who is with the victim's family, and Mr. Huey Jenkins Jr., who is likewise with the victim's family. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes. Do you understand our process?
Yes, sir.
This is the matter of Galen Dickerson, DOC number 373278. Mr. Dickerson's date of birth is August 31st, 1975. He has a parole eligibility date of August 1st of 2021. He's classified as a second felony offender. He has an adjusted good time date of May the 8th of 2151 and a full term date of February the 12th, 2152. He is currently serving 151 years, 6 months, and 11 days on the charges of armed robbery, where he's been also adjudicated a habitual offender, forcible rape, aggravated burglary. Is that accurate, Mr. Dickerson?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dickerson, your case has been assigned to Ms. Bonnie Jackson. Ms. Jackson will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions she may have?
All right. All right.
Good morning, Mr. Dickerson. I'm Bonnie Jackson. I've been assigned your case, so I'll start questioning with the board. How old are you, Mr. Dickerson?
49. 49 years old.
All right. And how long have you been incarcerated on these charges?
Ooh, I've been incarcerated 20 years.
I show maybe about 21, or somewhere between 20 and 21. Does that sound about
21.
right?
That's about right.
And Mr. Dickerson, I'm going to start with, these are some really violent and horrific crimes. They really were. So let's talk a little bit about who you are. How far did you go in school? Before being,
I went all the way to school.
I'm sorry?
I went all the way to school, but I went to East New Orleans Educational Center for problem people that really needed help and went to that school to try to learn.
Were you in special education classes or also in special education classes?
Special education.
And you had some behavior problems also, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you actually graduate?
I got my certificate when I graduated.
It wasn't a high school diploma, but it was a certificate, is that correct?
That's correct.
How old were you when you got out of school?
19 and 93.
And when you got out of school, what did you do?
I tried to go and work for companies and Franklin to Louisiana.
Okay, you said you tried to go and work. Did you actually
I
have
really,
a job?
I went and worked. I worked
What
for a plant company. A plant.
Okay,
So,
and
and,
what did you do for that company?
we were pulling plants and stuff like something like that. Pulling plants and loading and unloading, transport, and
Well, were you involved in drugs or alcohol?
no man.
You never drank? Have you ever drank
I don't drink
at all?
at all.
And what about using any kind of drug?
I don't use drugs.
Have you ever used any kind of drug?
No man,
Ever?
ever.
Okay. Well, help us then understand how you ended up committing these crimes. How old were you when you committed the rape and the burglary of a couple's home? How old were you then? You remember?
No man. I can't remember. That was 95.
Okay. Did you know those people?
That's my house that I was living in.
What do you mean that was your
I
house?
know her. That's my house.
What do you mean that was your house?
That Gene Atkins was living in.
Who is Gene Atkins?
The same person that was living in my house. Right now, my sister living in there.
Okay, I'm talking about when you broke into these people's house and you robbed a Mr. Dickinson and you raped Miss Teresa Duke.
The same house that you talking about that's on paper, that's my house. Gene Atkins, Dickerson wasn't living in that house. He was just there.
Okay, this happened on Carondelet Street.
On St. James and Washington.
Well, again, how did you end up robbing and raping some, regardless of what the address was, how did you end up robbing and raping someone at that location?
She said that I had did that, I raped her, but I wasn't the one that raped her. She told the judge that I wasn't the one. She said that she said something else about somebody else's had forced her, but I wasn't the one that forced her.
Well,
They said found
okay, Mr. Dickinson, that you were convicted and you ended up only serving, getting a 6-year sentence on that. But the break-in was at West Street. And according to the information, 2 perpetrators forced their way in and robbed Mr. Dickinson and Ms. Duke. And so you were convicted of this crime.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you know, when you're involved in a crime, whether you actually do all the acts connected with the crime, when you choose to involve yourself in a crime, then you're equally as guilty as the person who everybody's guilty of the same thing. All right. So you got a 6-year sentence on that. And then you paroled in that case in 1998. Is that correct? About
Yes, ma'am.
1998? That sounds about right.
Yes, ma'am.
So from 1998 to 2000, which is when the armed robbery with the 2 elderly victims occurred, what were you doing between 1998 and 2000?
1998, I had went home in 1998.
I understand that. And then when you got home, what did you do?
When I got home, I had got me a job
Where?
in St. Tim in Paris.
Doing what?
That's what I would help pulling plants, transporting plants.
And how long did you keep that job?
I ain't kept it for long.
Why
I ain't
not?
kept it for long because they had fired me. They fired me and said that I threatened the boss man and he wasn't even around.
So let's talk about what happened on December 9th, 2000 at Jenkins grocery store in Folsom, Louisiana.
I went in the
Go ahead.
I went in the store to buy something to eat, cigarettes and something to eat and something to drink. And I left the store. I was in my own car. I left the store and I got by somebody else's house to get, because my manifold was messed up on my car. I went to go see it, get a check. Police was riding around. They ain't mess with me at the time. They saw me go and get my car fixed. And they saw the man who was helping me, who gonna fix my car. He saw me push the car in the yard. He told me, no, back it up or push it. He gonna back it up in the car.
Stop talking. Stop talking. You were spotted in Franklinton. You were caught with the stolen money from the store. You told the police that you robbed the store using a BB gun. You told them where the BB gun should be found. They searched and they didn't find anything. And then you finally admitted it was not a BB gun, but a 410 shotgun. And you took them to where the real gun, the shotgun, was located at the end of Blueberry Court in Franklin. It was buried under some leaves, and it was recovered, and it was the weapon that was used to rob the victim.
I wasn't the truth, man.
Mr. Dickerson, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking to you.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, obviously, you went to trial, you were convicted, there was evidence presented, and whether you choose to sit here and claim you didn't do anything doesn't make it true. Not only did you rob the store, you mercilessly beat a 75-year-old woman and an 86-year-old man. And you left them permanently impaired for the rest of their life. So if you're not prepared to take any responsibility for the things that you've done, then I'm not prepared to spend a whole lot of time talking to you just to talk to you.
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to tell me again what happened when you robbed the Jenkins grocery store in Folsom.
I went in the store, and I bought me something to eat, bought me some drink, some cigarettes, and I left the store in my own car. And I ain't saw nothing that had wrong with the people I talked to them, because that's where I go cash my checks at.
Only program you've taken since you've been incarcerated is sex offender treatment, is that correct?
That's me. I took substance abuse, English management, risk management. That was at TU. When I was at TU, I took all them classes. 100 hour.
Talking about the first time you went to prison?
No, that's on this one here.
We don't have that in the record. The only thing listed on your master prison record is 4 phases of sex offender treatment. The only certificate we have from Louisiana State Penitentiary is completion of the sex offender treatment.
I took that class. I finished that class.
I know you took sex offender treatment. Warden Falgo, is there anything you can say about Mr. Dickerson?
The education, the programming that he's talking about was things that he was taking while he was in groups at TU. So that was not the classes that he would get credit for that you're seeing. That was part of the treatment program at the transitional unit. You know, he's been medium custody since 13. He did have a write-up last year for contraband.
You know what the contraband was, Warden?
One second. On the above date and time, Sergeant Bruce Ard was shaking down bed number 35 during the shakedown, located a 5-gallon jug containing an alcoholic substance, which gave off strong odor of alcohol. The container was located under inmate Galen Dickerson's bed. He pleaded guilty to that write-up.
Anything else, Warden, you want to add?
No, ma'am, that's it.
All right. And he's being treated for mental health issues?
From looking at where his location was, I don't have the medical record in front of me. From looking at it, he was in the lower tiers on
Right.
transitional unit, and he was, to the best of me remembering back into 13 when he was there, he was on the lower A, B, or C tiers, which would have been the program tiers, but he was also on some of the upper tiers as well, which would have been extended lockdown. Now he's not been in lockdown since October of 2013. That was the last time he was in Hawk unit, which is cell block. Since then, he's been in a dormitory as a medium at Camp D, both in Falcon and in Eagle, as a cafeteria attendant in the kitchen there at Camp D.
All right, thank you. Mr. Marvell, that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Now we'll hear from the opposition, Mr. Bryant Clark.
Thank you, Board. Just very briefly in this case, I'd like to note that Mr. Dickerson has a violent criminal history that has spanned now 2 different parishes. This includes his first conviction for armed robbery, forcible rape, aggravated burglary in Orleans Parish. He was granted parole, was revoked because of a simple battery charge, apparently went back to prison, and then was granted parole yet again, at which point he came over to St. Tammany Parish and then committed the 2 counts of armed robbery in this case against an 86-year-old and 75-year-old victim, as was pointing out, hitting them with a sawed-off shotgun in the process. Taking a look at his record, in his entire time that he's been in custody, he has no fewer than 47 write-ups while in prison. He has refused anger management, according to his assessment. He has no vocational skills listed. 12-step program, there is nothing listed for family support. And although he denies any type of substance abuse, he is currently on the waiting list for substance abuse treatment. We've also heard from Mr. Dickerson that he does not drink alcohol, yet we know just from last year, he was found with alcohol contraband in this case in prison. The totality of this case, obviously we've heard not remorse, but absolute denials of everything that has happened in this case, still up to this day, despite the fact of these convictions. Mr. Dickerson still denies that he's committed all of these heinous and atrocious acts. Given his lack of any type of rehabilitation, his record while in prison, not to mention his defiance as it pertains to these instant offenses, the state would be opposed to any parole in this matter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, is Ms. Brewster and Ms. Jenkins there with you?
Yes, sir, they are.
Do they wish to speak? I didn't know
Yes,
whether they wanted to speak or not.
Yes, they would like to speak, both of them.
Okay, Ms. Brewster, if you would,
Yes.
please.
1 second.
Good morning, sir. My name's Jessica Jenkins Brewster. I'm here on behalf as a victim. And as a victim, I understand the Louisiana legislature has changed the victim guidelines for sentencing. On December 9th of 2000, a very heinous crime was committed by Mr. Dickerson against my great aunt, Dorothy Jenkins, along with Mr. Rader Blackwell. My great aunt was 75 at the time, along with Mr. Blackwell, 86. And I apologize if I get upset or emotional during this time. She didn't have any children. And in my letter to the board, I explained that we were actually all her children. She was a school bus driver and she was very active in the community, in the church. She owned a little grocery store across from the lumber mill that she had an ownership interest in. And she worked there her whole life and at the lumber mill along with at the grocery store. She cashed checks, always had a significant amount of cash on hand to cash checks. As at a very young age, all of us worked at the store with her. So on that day on December 9th, we were all in school. In 2000, I was in college at the time, so I wouldn't have been there, but I had younger siblings, but we would have all been at school to not help her. But Mr. Rader Blackwell, who was 86, had retired from 7-Up and he was there helping her. We had known Mr. Rader Blackwell all of our lives, and he was elderly on a cane, had a colostomy bag, but never thought that either one of them would ever be subjected to any type of attack like this. It just two great members of the community that did not deserve somebody to heinously attack them. My aunt, as a result of this, had a brain shunt that was placed in her head. She never was able to return back to Jenkins' store to open the grocery store. She was placed in Forest Manor nursing home and remained there for the rest of her life. Mr. Rader died shortly thereafter. We went to trial, which was a very rough reliving of the whole event for the family. He was sentenced to 150 years in jail. There were 2 previous violent crimes that he has had on his record. And I know with the resentencing structure, Louisiana legislature, I understand he hadn't even served a third of his sentence. I believe that he is a threat to society and others. There has been 3 heinous crimes of violence that have occurred amongst victims that are helpless in this situation. We have a 75-year-old, an 86-year-old. We have a female that has from Orleans Parish that was brutally raped and on an aggravated burglary charge. So there are multiple victims in this case. It's not, he deserves to.
Ms. Brewster, you froze up, but I do believe we have gotten the gist of what you wanted to say to us. So Thank you very much. We appreciate the courage that it took for you to be here today. Everybody's frozen? Okay. Us too?
We're still here. I don't know if you guys can hear us at Angola.
I think that he is where he needs to be. I feel threatened to this community by him being released. So, and that's my feelings.
Thank you very much, Brewster, for the courage to speak to us today. Mr. Jenkins?
Yeah, this is, my name is Huey Jenkins Jr. and my Aunt Dorothy, well, that was my dad's sister. And I grew up in that community with her. And my aunt, she treated us three children. I had a older sister and a younger brother. And we all helped her and my grandma in the store and all like that. And worked at the lumber mill and all like that. And what I'm hearing today, this man has no remorse of what he's done. He's not rehabilitated. So I think the board should look at this very, very much and be responsible, and that he's not given parole. He has no remorse about what he's done. He can't even remember what he's done. My aunt had cashed the check for him the day before, that evening. He worked right across the parish line at Windmill Nursery, and she cashed the check for him. So she knew that, or he knew that she cashed checks for all the workers and came in and whatever. So it was premeditated on his part. He knew what he was going to do that morning. I went to see my aunt that morning before the store opened because she wasn't feeling that well. And my other son, which is not here today, Trey, he's Huey the third. He was with me, and he was at that time, I'm not sure, but he was about 8 or 9 years old. And we'd went by to see my aunt before she opened that day. And we had to attend to some business at the mill because we were having problems with some equipment there. And another man refrigeration man was going to meet us there that morning. So we opened up the mill and the gates and all like that and stopped to see her. And she told me Mr. Rader was going to be in that morning to help her out, you know. And so all this occurred whenever I was at across the road about a quarter of a mile there on the opposite side of the highway. But here's a man that has no remorse about what he's done. And he's also not telling the truth about his abuse of alcohol and all like that. And he has no, what I can see, no feeling of remorse, and he doesn't want to change his life. He has no indication that I can see that he's going to do anything different if we let him out. So here we go. We're going to let him out and him have more. We have more victims. It's not fair to society. So I just plead with y'all to do the right thing. And that's all I've got to say.
Thank you very much, Jenkins. We appreciate your comments as well. Encourage you to be here today. Mr. Dickerson, is there anything you would like to say before the board?
No, sir.
Is the board ready to vote? Ms. Jackson?
Dickerson,
I'm listening.
I don't know whether it's because of your intellectual difficulties that you're in special education, that you just don't have the ability to. I don't see him on the screen. Okay. I don't know if you even have the ability to understand how horrible these crimes were. And you know that you committed these crimes, even if you weren't admitted to this, you know that you committed these crimes.
Yes, ma'am.
They're terrible crimes. You have an extreme history of violence. There's strong opposition from the entire legal community, as well as the victims in this case, and there are more victims than you can even imagine as a result of both of the crimes, the rape, the burglary, and the armed robbery. You were on parole from the rape when you committed these offenses. You have taken a whole lot of programming. You have no transition plan. With no one here today with you, you don't have any family support.
My family, I have addresses, but I don't have no phone numbers to get in contact and talk to them. I just have addresses.
And obviously they don't keep in contact with you. They don't come and visit you. Otherwise, Mr. Dickerson, I'm not asking you questions. I'm talking. I just don't think you're capable of living in society. You don't have the skills that it takes to do that. And I think that you would pose a risk if you were released. So my vote today is going to be to deny you. But Mr. Dickerson, you've got a lot of work to do on yourself. You've got to do more than what you're doing now, which is just sitting around and not taking advantage of whatever there is to help. So, good luck to you, but my vote today is done.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Freeman?
Due to lack of programming and the serious nature of the offenses, plus law enforcement and victim opposition, I also vote.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Mr. Dickerson, I agree with everything Judge Jackson said. I don't know if it's your mental health disabilities or whatever you have, but you need to look into your own heart and accept the fact you have committed these horrible crimes and what effect that has had on the family of the victims of your crimes. You don't show any remorse at all. I don't know if you're just not capable of doing that, but I agree. You are a threat to society as you sit here today. You do have a lot of work to do. That doesn't mean that you'll never have an opportunity to get out, but unless you do some hard work and look introspectively inside yourself and try to figure out what and why and how you won't do that again, you'll forever be. So good luck to you, sir. You have 3 votes to deny your parole. Your parole has been denied. Gordon, thank you very much for your support today. I'd like to thank Mr. Clark, Ms. Brewster, and Mr. Jenkins for being here today and speaking. We will be adjourned at this time. Warden, good seeing you.
You too. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And there you have it. How I miss the Honorable Judge Jackson. You know, there's no one else like her. She is a true Louisiana gem, really trying to even understand what it is that's going on in this thing's head. And frankly, I just think he doesn't have empathy. I think it is that simple. And it's interesting. I even miss Brian Clark, that ADA. He's the kind of guy, I've always said this about him, that he's like the ball player that you're happy when he's on your team, but you'd probably hate him if he was on the other team. He doesn't look like a very pleasant guy, but sure as hell I am happy he is on the ADA side of things. He knows how to deliver a statement. The victims, they spoke beautifully as well, and they put this monster in his place. But guess what? He's back. He's back. It's August 2025, just a few years later. And yeah, although he's supposed to spend 151 years in prison, although his full term date is 5/8/2151. That's his good time date, says Sir Richard in the spreadsheet. He's up for parole again. We can thank legislation for that. Our lawmakers are always looking out for their communities because surely this man, as his risk assessment says, is a low risk to reoffend. We won't harp on the low risk assessment. That's, as we all know, is insane. But we're about to hear some words from the victims that are just so remarkably powerful. It might make you shed a tear. I know it did for me. So with that, let's jump in.
Okay, the time is 12:05. The date is August the 6th of 2025. We're in Baton Rouge at the headquarters of the Department of Corrections. We're the Committee on Parole, and we're continuing. We've had a number of hearings, and we've done introductions of the staff here and the staff at Louisiana State Penitentiary. You can see from our nameplates that are in front of us exactly who we are that's going to be talking to you this morning. And you are Mr. Galen Dickerson, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What is your DOC number, Mr. Dickerson?
373278.
Okay, we're gonna first ask you why you're there. We're gonna ask you, or you're gonna tell us why you're there and what you've done since you've been there, why you think that you are worthy of getting an early release on parole. Then we're gonna ask the institution there, the deputy warden, to tell us exactly what kind of fellow you've been. Then we're gonna listen to those that are in opposition to your getting this parole request. And then we're going to ask some questions. Ms. Ledoux will lead the question, and then we're going to vote. Pretty simple process. So why don't you start out by tell us whatever you want to say to try to convince us that you're worthy of being released early.
Well, I've been doing what I'm supposed to be doing to help myself. I've been going to classes. I finished classes, and I haven't been getting in no trouble, no write-ups or anything like that, no fights, no cursing, no sergeants out. And I've been bettering myself, keeping myself out of trouble. And that's what I've been doing for myself, staying out of trouble and going to classes.
What are you doing? How'd you end up at Louisiana State Penitentiary?
Well, I'm on an armed robbery charge, 2 counts of armed robbery charge. And
Okay, I mean, you're in there on those counts, but did you do that?
yeah, I did it. I did armed robbery charge. I was coming from my grandmother's house when in my car, got on the causeway, kept going, and I saw a gas station. I parked my car, walked in the gas station, saw somebody behind the counter, bought some food, then I hit the person with a gun. And somebody else came in there, and I hit the other person. They showed me the money, and I took the money, and I walked out and got back in my car, and I left. And I'm sorry for what I did. And I meant that. I'm sorry for what I did. And
Okay. All right, we appreciate that. Warden, deputy warden, I can't see y'all because so I don't know who's in the room, but who would speak for the institution there? Yes, ma'am.
He AU to LSP in 2004. He has served about 25 years. He's a medium custody offender that's assigned to Camp D, Eagle 2, and he works in the cafeteria as an attendant. He's had 47 disciplinary reports since being incarcerated, the last one being in 2021 for a Rule 1. He's completed sex offender treatment in 06, anger management in 24, and he's a Tiger Low score. He's currently enrolled in 100 hours and thinking for a change in Tapuco.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate that. Okay, we'll move into those in opposition. And let's see, there's 4 people that will be speaking. First one will be Jason Duke, who is on Zoom, I believe. Jason, will you talk to us, please, sir?
Can you hear me?
Ken?
Good morning. My name is Jason Duke. I'm the son of Teresa Duke. One of those whom Mr. Dickerson victimized. He failed to mention that he raped my mother at gunpoint with an accomplice, which is what got him on parole, which is what led to the following crimes after he was paroled for that crime. It led to the crimes that he currently just admitted to. I'll continue with the rest of my written statement. I'm sorry, I'm a little infuriated the fact that he could not have the gumption to mention my mother. First, I would like to thank you, the board members, for this opportunity to speak. I also want to express my gratitude to Mr. Romero. He is the reason I'm here today. Speaking for my mother and my family who have all passed on. To the other victims and their families, I share your sorrow. After much consideration, I chose to treat Mr. Dickerson with far more humanity than he showed my mother or any of his other victims. I have no sympathy for him or his time in prison. However, I do forgive him for his heinous crimes against my helpless, disabled mother. This is what my mom would have wanted. But let me be clear. Forgiveness does not absolve him of his crimes, nor will I forget. The hatred or negative emotions I once felt dissipated when I realized it gave him power over me. Mr. Dickerson victimized one of the most caring, kind, empathetic, and compassionate people I've ever known. Her 25-year career as a registered nurse, a testament to the empathetic life she led. She never harmed anyone, quite the opposite. She was there for anyone in need. The barbaric attack on my defenseless mother had a ripple effect on my family and I for the last 3 decades and counting, inflicting wounds that will never heal. The screams of my anguished mother from her phone call after being raped by Mr. Dickerson live with me to this day and will until the day I die. The trauma my mother lived with until she died at age 49, the same age that Mr. Dickerson has been lucky to make it to. She passed away on July 20th, 2008. Mr. Dickerson stole her dignity and feeling of safety, replacing it with a vile, terrifying memory. I have no doubt she would still be alive today if their worlds had not collided, and my nephew would know his grandmother, and my mother would know my now wife. In closing, giving his other crimes committed while on parole and disciplinary record in prison, I view Mr. Dickerson as an unredeemable predator who purposely preys on the weak and defenseless. He is clearly a liar and takes little, if any, responsibility for his crimes against my mother. For these reasons, I humbly ask this board to deny his parole. Allowing this man back into society will ensure more victims of his predatory nature. Thank you. And in closing, I would just like to share the last picture I had with my mother. This is at my grandparents' house, the Christmas before she passed away. She was a wonderful person. She was a part of New Orleans. She was a tarot card reader in Jackson Square after her retirement as a nurse. She loved the city. She loved the Saints. She loved everything about it. Even after all the brutality, after Kirk and Katrina and everything else, she couldn't wait to get back to New Orleans, where she eventually passed away. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir, and I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you for coming forward. Okay, we'll move on to to Mr. Butch Wilson's office. I think there's several people there or that are with him. Number one, it'll be Jessica Brewster, and Huey Jenkins will follow, and then we'll let Mr. Wilson talk. So, Jessica, would you talk to us, please?
Good morning. I'm sorry, good afternoon. Thank you all for allowing us to appear via Zoom. We truly appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, board members, along with thank you for the parole, Charles Romero, along with Butch at the DA's office, and everybody else has been able to help us with our journey in this tragic event, along with Mr. Duke. I apologize for what your family has endured. Mr. Dickerson, we are Christian people, my family and I do believe that it is in our heart that we do forgive you, along with my aunt that you brutally attacked years ago. I'm gonna try and get through this just like Mr. Duke did. My aunt, along with Mr. Rader, were also icons in our community that were truly great souls. She owned the store on Highway 25 that so many people went to. She was an elderly person, also unable to defend herself, just like Mr. Duke's mother. And Mr. Rader also was able to defend himself that day in 2000. And you know, whether you needed money that day or not, I don't know. And I know that you did admit it today and did not admit it at the last parole hearing, that you did do the senseless crime with malice. You could have chosen any other day when neither one of them was not there to burglarize the store and take the money that you did beat that day. But you did choose to beat them brutally, so bad to where my aunt needed a shunt in her head and was never able to open back up the little store that everybody went to cash their checks. So, you know, the pain that the family endured because of your senseless malice and brutal attack that day on two elderly people in our community was unnecessary and absolutely horrifying. We already had members in our community that were suffering. We were caring for people with MS that later died, and also had to withstand the tragedy of dealing with somebody else that was also a caretaker for those people in our community. And what you did to our family that day, we will never forget, but we will move on and forgive you for what you have done. And I do not believe that you need to be released to be around other members in our community. You have affected 3 helpless souls that they are no longer with us, any of these 3 people. I don't think that you deserve a chance to come into this community and take anybody else's lives or any other victims' lives and do this to anybody else. I wish you the best where you are. I hope that you get the services that you need for yourself and better yourself in the community that you're in. But I am sorry. I cannot wish that you come back into our community and get the opportunity that none of these people have. They will not be allowed to do anything else in our community or give the community their soul that they vibrantly gave every day. So, and for that, I wish you the very best where you are, and I'm asking humbly for the parole board to deny your parole this time as they did in 2022. And I wish you nothing but luck, and God bless you, and hope that you are able to stay where you are.
Thank you. We appreciate that very much. Okay, we'll hear from Huey Jenkins now. Mr. Jenkins?
And please, sir, address the board and not the offender, if you don't mind, please.
I thank y'all for having us today to come and testify. And I want you to know that my aunt and my daughter that just talked to y'all, they're sincere in every bit. And I forgive Mr. Dickerson too, but I witnessed this trauma. And every time I come back here before y'all, it just opens that wound again. And I know that I don't want anyone else to suffer what my family has. I know my father, aunt, sister took care of her after that. Everything. I just have to end this conversation. So I hope y'all understand.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it and understand completely. We sure do. Mr. Wilson, the 22nd JDC ADA. Are you here, sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. We didn't see you back there.
I'm sorry, I was over in the corner here. Thank y'all and good afternoon. I believe we're after lunch now, but I'll be very brief in my comments. I think I'm well aware of the facts. Just the bottom line. Mr. Dickerson, plainly and simply, was a convicted rapist who got a second chance and then victimized two more victims, horribly, elderly victims who were vulnerable, like the victim of his first crime in Orleans Parish. All of these victims this affected their lives. The two elderly victims of the robberies passed away shortly thereafter. And as we just heard, the victim in the first case lived a few more years and died prematurely at age 49. The bottom line, as it's been said before, is you simply can't trust this man amongst law-abiding people based on what he has done in the past. And I will not belabor the point other than just to say that, as I said before, Mr. Dickerson, after committing a horrible crime, got a second chance and then answered that by committing another horrible crime. We can't trust him. And on behalf of the district attorney, we ask that you deny parole.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate those words and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that wraps up all of the opposition that we're going to have that will be speaking. Ms. Ledoux, would you begin the questioning, please?
Yes. Mr. Dickerson, you were seen in 2022, correct?
2022.
Yeah, you were seen in 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
And they discussed, I think, that time that you needed programming. So I understand you're enrolled in pre-release, but what about substance abuse? Have you ever had any substance abuse treatment?
I'm in substance abuse class right now.
You're in substance abuse and you're in pre-release. Okay.
I'm in 100-hour class in Tucapucu. Those are classes I'm in.
The substance abuse is part of thinking for a change that he's enrolled in.
And I'm finished anger management. I got my certificates right here.
I have management, anger management. It says you're on the waiting list for substance abuse. I don't consider thinking for a change is a dedicated certified substance abuse program personally. That would be something like Living in Balance or TR or something like that. Where would you live if you were released?
With my grandmother, Miss Hazel Daniel Dickerson.
And how old is Miss?
On Country in New Orleans, Louisiana.
How old is she?
Ooh, I don't forgot how old she is. I've been locked up and don't keep up with her age.
Because you're 50 right now, aren't you? Around 50?
Well, I'll be 50 years old in August the 31st. Now.
Yeah. So what kind of employment have you had in the past?
What kind of appointment?
Employment, job.
Well, I was working at Church's Fried Chicken in New Orleans. And I worked at a car wash in Covington, Louisiana. And I worked at the plants, pulling plants in Folsom, Louisiana.
Okay, so you have had some employment. You're serving a 151-year sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've served 25 years of that.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have not completed the programming that I would expect for you to have done already in 25 years. So I don't have any further questions.
I have no question. I think we can vote.
Yeah, Mr. Dickerson, I'm glad that you're currently enrolled in those programs. I think that's excellent. But at this time, based on lack of time served, I didn't hear much remorse for the victims of the crime. Since you have a lack of remorse there and you need additional programming. My vote is not.
Okay.
I agree with what my colleague said, plus you have law enforcement opposition and clearly victim opposition.
Okay, and I concur. So as of today, your parole request has been denied. The time is 12:25 in here.
And there you have it. And there you have it, a denial. But one must wonder how many times the family is going to have to show up and listen to this, I don't know, like the devil himself, really. No empathy, no emotion, no attempt to fake empathy, no attempt at an apology. I don't know how you could better define evil than by simply watching this parole hearing, knowing the crimes that he committed, who he committed them against. I feel like there are a lot of people that need to see this to understand that evil does exist. I think the only redeeming factor about this hearing is that he didn't have support. We're so accustomed to people sitting behind him talking about how he's their role model or a pillar in the community, or trying to tell the victims that they should have mercy, or that he's a low risk, that he's been punished enough. Thankfully, we didn't have to hear that. The victims talking on behalf of their loved ones, they really said everything that had to be said, and they said it with the utmost grace and perfection. Just beautiful. I gotta tell you, I wouldn't be able to have such grace. You know, my grandfather's turning 96. I talk to him. I try to talk to him almost every single day. And I can't imagine the idea of him being ripped from my world and then brutally, and then being forced to come to a parole hearing to confront a man who is a monster as far as I'm concerned. And then to have to do it every 3 years. He has a 151-year sentence. And that's, again, where my anger starts to go towards the system. Because we know monsters exist. We know evil exists. We just watched it. But how is it that we can have our lawmakers to pass legislation that overturns what a judge in their wisdom decided or a jury decided? What gives you the right to put the family through this, to re-victimize the family again and again and again and again? And just think if he were to somehow get paroled. You know, we cover other states. We've seen Utah release brutal murderers. As a matter of fact, we covered a parole revocation hearing out of the state of Connecticut for a man who was not so dissimilar to this man. When he was 17 years old, he essayed and killed his neighbor who was in her 80s and got away with it. 6 months later, he essayed and killed his other neighbor who was in her 80s. Then he got caught. And it was the district attorney that said, holy smokes, this is similar to neighbor number one. They exhumed her body, got the DNA, and locked him up for something like 400 years. And guess what? They paroled him. And then he got revoked when he disappeared, when he took his ankle bracelet off and disappeared for 5 days. And he too had an elderly mother that they were nervous he may have been going to visit. My point on retelling you this, and you can see that hearing on Mandu Channel 2 and their Connecticut Revocation playlist, is that some states do parole monsters, do parole evil, do parole people with broken wiring. We see it all the time. Don't get me going on Iowa. I know you hear Iowa, you think they don't know. They're the worst. They're the worst of all the states we cover. Just covered a hearing out of I don't know. I'm just covered a hearing out of Illinois of a serial offender like this as well. And their legislation has made it so that the man is getting paroled anyways. And do you want him to be, and he's an older, you know, he's in his 70s or 80s or something, but they want to parole him to an old age home. And they're fighting to get him in the old age home. And I'm just thinking, like, are you kidding me? you want, you know, like, the advocates that are fighting with the parole board, why don't you have this person sharing a room or next door neighbor in the old age home of your parents? Let's see how good you feel about that. But they passed law. They didn't mention the act in these hearings, but I assume that this was Act 122. That's what I assume. You know, Act 122, you serve more than 20 years of your sentence, you're over 40 years old, and I think you get like magic parole eligibility. I don't know what other act it might be. If you know, leave it in the comment section. And the legislation, I know Act 122, it was bipartisan. So don't blame either party. They each had their motives. And my understanding is that they wanted to pass it because Louisiana has one of the highest incarceration rates. People always say that. Louisiana's archaic. And so let's pass legislation that anyone who sits a certain parameter above the age of 40 and served more than 20 years on their sentence and hasn't done X, I don't know. I really can't figure out because we see the worst of the worst show up. You can have a parole hearing. And they signed it without thinking about the insanity of it, the pain and suffering it would cause. And why did they do it? They did it because I believe follow the dollar. I believe follow the dollar. I believe lobbyists, prisons in Louisiana, some of them are like privately owned and state owned. They're publicly traded. It's profit driven. Well, old inmates are expensive, very expensive as they get older. So how do you solve that problem so you're more profitable? Go pass legislation. And then you have companies like the Parole Project that get paid to house these monsters, and it's still coming out of the Louisiana taxpayer dollar. But it's just moving things around on a spreadsheet. Don't tell the taxpayers. Thankfully, the Louisiana Parole Project was not here. I don't know why. They don't care. I saw hearings from today where they did show up for people who were monsters too. I don't know why they didn't show up for this one, but thank God. I couldn't handle that. I don't know if they choose not to or not. I don't know. But thank you, Sir Richard and Lady Holly, for connecting the dots on this spreadsheet, making it possible to follow the hearings as they go. And if he does show up in another 3 years, we'll be here to cover it. And what I think I'm going to do is, as some of you know, or maybe many of you don't know, but my grandpa who I told you about, is turning 96 in September. I record. I call him to tell stories and record them, and sometimes I share them with you. And this time I called him to ask for a story, and he couldn't tell me one, but I kept the record button on. So what you have is just a casual conversation, and you listen to him, and you hear his love for life, his joy of life, and the idea that could have been. I think when I see these victims that were brutally murdered, I think of my grandfather in this situation to make it real for me. But I'll end this call so we can listen and maybe just take in what this monster ripped away from this world for other loved ones. You can just share one right now.
I don't think I got a story to tell. I really don't. I'm trying to think. I think of it at night when I go to sleep, and then I forget about it.
You can pretend you're going to sleep.
I can't think of what the hell to talk about. Oh.
You want to hear about a parole hearing? I have a question for you, maybe.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I'll bring it back.
What happened?
Oh, I bought the wrong sugar. I went to the store.
Oh.
Paula's son is coming Sunday to pick her up, to take her back to New York.
Yeah.
And he likes sugar in his coffee, and I don't have any sugar in the house. So I bought sugar, but I bought the wrong kind. I don't know anything about sugar. I bought the kind you sprinkle.
Oh, no. You see, there's some things that never change. Even at 95 years old, you're still buying the wrong stuff from the grocery store.
Well, who knows? I never buy sugar. I never use sugar. To me, sugar is poison. You know? You check with doctors, and they're going to tell you now. The new philosophy is that sugar is more dangerous to your health than salt. Salt's bad, but sugar's even worse. You know why? You get diabetes from sugar.
Right.
You got that right. And there's enough sugar in everything you eat. Natural sugar, plus in processed food, there's sugar. So you get plenty of sugar. You don't need sugar. So I never use sugar. And I never use candy, and I never use pastries. It's too sweet. I don't eat it. I just don't like it. So I didn't have any sugar in the house, and Paula's son likes sugar in his coffee. So I bought sugar, but I got the wrong kind. I got the kind you sprinkle on cakes.
Well,
So I'll return it.
well, that might be part of your secret to longevity.
Yeah, that's right. The secret of my longevity is no sugar or cigarettes.
No sugar or cigarettes.
Yeah, no sweets or sours. But I'll tell you what I did buy today, which I'm naughty.
Yeah.
Pickles.
Oh, that is naughty.
Kosher sour pickles.
That is very naughty.
I feel a little naughty. I figure, what the hell? A couple of pickles, what the hell?
Oh,
yeah, I love pickles.
They're good. Are you
I know, the kosher dills, huh?
Are you gonna put them in a lox sandwich or?
No. I like it with a sandwich, like a tuna sandwich. Yeah, nice pickle, egg salad, pickle. Yeah. No, I don't like it with tuna. Lox, I like onion and tomato.
Onion and tomato.
Onion and tomato. Yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Did you start happy hour yet?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, you're late.
I just got back from shopping, and you called, and Paul is putting all the groceries away.
Oh.
And she's going to start cooking pretty soon, and I haven't even started happy hour.
Oh my God.
I don't know, maybe too chilly to sit out in the front deck. I may have to sit in the back deck where the sun's shining. It's too chilly outside. I got all the windows closed in the cottage. They're all closed.
Is it too chilly for an outside shower?
No, never too chilly for that. Not when you get hot water. Not when you get hot water, baby.
Yeah, you love that outside shower.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What do you like about it so much?
Oh, it's so nice, the fresh air and the sun shining in there. And if you just get off the beach, and you're a little chilly, you put that hot water on, you get the salt water off of you, and it feels so good. Nice, fresh Dove soap to clean yourself off with. This feels great.
You should be
And sometimes I do it at night with the stars shining out. Oh, it's so beautiful. Take a shower before you go to bed, and you'll see the stars out, all bright and shiny.
That is.
And I sit in the chair facing the sun, and the deck there warms you up. Oh, it's just beautiful. Nothing like an outdoor shower.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people
And an
have
outside shower.
experienced.
I've had an outside shower since I've been in Groton. The first thing I did was an outside shower, and even on 87, I had the outside shower. Yeah.
What made you
it's
want
really
to?
nice.
What made you think about it? Did you grow up with one?
No, it was here when we moved in.
Oh.
They had the outside shower here, and I just loved it. No, I didn't have one when I was growing up. I grew up in an apartment house with six apartments. No outside. We had a porch, but it faced the parking lot and the garbage cans with the rats running up and down. So no, it was nothing great.
Mm.
And every spring, the men used to come, back the car up, put a hose on the exhaust, knock over the garbage can in the garbage shed, and let the hose go down the rat holes, and the rats come running out, and they're standing there with shovels, hitting them over the head as they come running out. I was a little 7-year-old kid, and one big rat got away and comes running right after me, and I ran up the stairs. You can't believe I was so scared.
Well,
those were big rats too. Let me tell you,
East
the size
Coast
of
rats.
cats.
Yeah, they don't mess around. East Coast rats.
You got that right. Yeah, they did it every spring. They'd back up the cars, put the exhaust pipe in there, and every guy had a shovel in his hand as they come running out of the hose, bang over the head, bing, bang, bing. I don't ever did with the carcasses. Interesting to know. Probably threw in the garbage can and threw them out.
Maybe your father served it up as
No, 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 no. No, 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 no way. No way. Yeah. Yeah. What a dum-dum confectionery sugar I bought. What a dum-dum. So,
You went swimming in the ocean this week?
yep. Yes, I did. Lynn helped me get in the water and get out. And once I get up to my knees, I'm fine, and I'm able to manipulate myself. And I laid on my back and kicked my feet. Stowed in for a half hour. Temperature was 69 degrees. Very nice. I loved it. Sun was shining. It was a nice hot day. And then they have a shower right there outside. I shower on my feet. I'll get all the sand off. And then when I get home, I go into the outside shower and get a hot shower and get all the salt off my body. And it feels really good.
Oh, man.
So we got an interesting thing here tomorrow. This guy is an executive for Mass Mutual Life Insurance Company, and his annual salary is $350,000 a year.
It's not bad.
And he wants to rent the house for his 66-year-old retired Pfizer employee father. So I said, there's something wrong here. There's something I don't like
fishy.
it.
Yeah.
Sounds fishy. So he calls a second time. He says, look, he says, if I could put my father in there, I'll pay for the entire lease in advance. $11,000. I says, now it's really fishy, really fishy. Well, he called again the third time, and Lynn said to him, I don't understand why your 66-year-old father can't handle things on his own, why your son has to take care of it for him. And he's told the story. He's in a very difficult, serious divorce, and all his money is tied up. So his son is willing to put the money up for his father and sign the lease. Because his father can't, because it's involved. So that is the story. What do you think?
If they're paying up front, I mean, it makes sense. The story makes sense. I know it smells fishy. It's good to have your radar up, but it also could be true.
My thinking is that this woman he's divorcing, is not the mother. It's a second marriage.
Okay.
If that's the case, then I think it's legitimate. But if it's his mother, then I'm a little suspicious.
Why?
Well, why would a son take favors with his father against his mother? I don't know. It doesn't sound kosher to me.
So you asked? You're waiting for an answer, or?
Well, I have not asked yet. We're going to meet with them tomorrow. Both of them.
Right.
The 66-year-old father and the 44-year-old son.
Yeah.
And he's willing to pay $11,000. Well, you got $350,000 a year. What the hell's 11 grand?
Right. I mean, but I have heard those stories, nightmare stories where bank accounts get frozen and divorces. So
Yeah, exactly. No, I understand that.
So, you ran the check. He's really an executive who is.
Yes, he is.
So it's probably legit because if he really is that executive, he's got too much to lose.
Oh yeah, I mean he's not going to break anything. You're exactly right. He's only 44 years old, so he's not getting ready to leave the company. That's
Right.
for sure.
And he's not going to be
If he's a vice president at 44, he could be president at 54.
right. Right. He's not gonna be
And Mass Mutual is a Class A company too. It's in the same league as Travelers and Aetna.
right. Right. I mean the main thing that scares me is will they not leave on year 2, you know, and then will you have to evict them and now you're stuck. But that's
No, he said, according to him, he says this is perfect because in June he's got a place to go or something. I don't know. Says this is just perfect. Timing is right, and he knows the area because he worked for
I'm surprised he
he
didn't.
worked right here in Groton. He worked in Groton, you know.
You know what? You know what else? If he was really scamming you, he would have offered more rent too. He would have said, "I'll pay you 15,000."
Yeah, that's true.
He didn't do that.
I don't think it's a scam. I think it's legitimate. And I think it's an ideal setup because he knows the area, he's close by, and he knows friends in the area. I think he really wants this place for his daddy.
Oh, I would.
So I think it's a win-win. Oh, I'm not. Lynn's very hot about it right now. First she was cold, now she's hot after talking for the 3rd time.
Oh,
So we're going to meet the both of them tomorrow at 3:00.
You know, if I ever got divorced, I would live in that house for the winter. But don't worry.
Bite your tongue.
Yeah,
Bite your tongue.
I'm biting my. Things are good.
Now with those 3 gorgeous kids.
Yeah.
Never mind the wife. You just forget the wife. Remember just the 3 gorgeous kids you got there. Oh my God, they adore you. You're their hero. They look up to you, you know.
Oh, Mama Do also looks up to me.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh. Pardon me.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Uh-huh.
You know what they say? A happy wife's a happy life.
Correct. You taught me that.
Keep her happy. Keep her happy. Roger that.
Roger that.
That's great. That's good. That is good. Very good. Yeah. I can't think of any stories right now. My head is a little.
Well, we'll do it another time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I got to think of something good. I told you a lot of my stuff already. You know? Yeah.
It's not just for me, it's for the community. They haven't heard all your stories.
I know.
They always ask for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. You remind
Very
them
nice.
of their father or their grandfather.
Right. Yeah. Yes, indeed. That's true.
How old did he turn
They're
96?
probably
yet?
gone. Most of them are probably gone already, right?
They're gone, yeah.
Yeah.
When are you turning 96?
September the 8th.
September the 8th. We'll have to have you on for your birthday. How about that?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell them I'm 69. I
Good.
transpose.
Transpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could pass for 69.
You could.
Yeah.
Easy.
An elderly 69.
I think you'd be a hippity hoppity 69.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, enjoy the family. Take it easy. You going to do anything special?
No, just gonna
We'll have a happy
Take a break from
hour.
packing.
Yeah.
That's good.